On page 1 of the worksheet packet today, we are going to evaluate exponents. On number 1, we have 3 to the power of negative 2. So you need to know that a negative equals 1 over. Okay, it means to have the inverse. So when I say 3 to the negative 2 power, this means 1 over 3 squared. And then 3 squared means 3 times 3, which equals 1 over 9. So our answer would be 1 over 9. Number 2, we have 10 squared. This means 10 times 10, which equals 100. So our answer would be 100. Number 3, we have 12 to the power of 4. This means we're going to multiply 12 times itself 4 times. On a calculator, what you can do is 12, and then you'll see this button that says x to the power of y. If you click that and type in the exponent, it'll tell you your answer. 20,736. Number 4, we have 3 to the power of negative 2. This is the same one we had earlier. The negative means 1 over 3 to the power of 2, and 3 squared equals 9, so the answer is 1/9. Number 5, we have negative 6 squared. A negative times a negative is going to be a positive, and 6 times 6 is 36. So negative 6 squared is 36. Number 6, anything to the power of 1 is itself. So negative 12 to the power of 1 is negative 12. Number 7, we have 2 to the power of 5. That means 2 times 2, 5 times. On a calculator, that's 2. Use the x to the power of y button and type in your power. So our answer is 32. Number 8, we have 9 to the power of negative 3. Remember that a negative power means 1 over. Now we have 9 cubed. The power of 3 is also called cubed. So we can say 9 x to the y of 3. We get 729. So our answer is 1 over 729. Number 9. We have negative 2 cubed. A negative to an odd power remains a negative, because in this instance we would have negative times a negative becomes positive, then that positive times a negative becomes negative again. So we know that our answer is going to be negative. Now we have 2 cubed. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So our answer is negative 8. Number 10. We have negative 10 to the negative 3 power. Remember that a negative exponent means 1 over. Now we know that a negative to an odd power is going to be a negative. And 10 cubed, 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So our answer is negative 1 over 1,000. Number 11. We have 7 to the power of 5. We can use a calculator for this one. 7, the x to the power of y button, 5, and our answer is 16,807. Number 12. We have negative 3 to the power of 4. A negative number taken to an even power becomes positive. So now we have 3 to the power of 4. And our answer is 81. Number 13. Anything to the power of 1 is itself. So negative 8 to the power of 1 is negative 8. Number 14. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. So 8 to the power of 0 equals 1. Number 15. We have negative 7 to the power of negative 4. A negative exponent means 1 over. A negative number to a even power becomes positive. So we have 7 to the power of 4. And our answer is 1 over 2,401. Number 16. We have negative 5 to the power of negative 1. A negative exponent means 1 over. And anything to the power of 1 is itself. So our answer is negative 1/5. Number 17. We have 4 to the power of negative 4. A negative exponent means 1 over. 4 to the power of 4 equals 256. So our answer is 1 over 256. Number 18. We have 5 to the power of 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Number 19. We have negative 3 to the power of 3. A negative number taken to an odd power is negative. Now we have 3 cubed. 3 times 3 equals 9. 9 times 3 equals 27. So our answer is negative 27. And the last problem on page 1, number 20, we have 6 to the power of negative 1. A negative exponent means 1 over. And anything to the power of 1 is itself. So our answer is 1/6. On page 2 of the worksheet packet, we are going to start dealing with exponents that are fractions. So, number 1, we have 8 to the negative 1/3 power. So the first thing we notice is that we have a negative. And negative means 1 over. Now, we notice that we have a fractional exponent. The way we do this is that the numerator stays with the base number. So 1 will stay with the 8. The denominator becomes the root. So this becomes 1 over the cube root of 8 to the first power. We see that the denominator 3 came outside of the radical, and the numerator, the 1, stayed with the base number. Anything to the power of 1 is itself. So now we have 1 over the cube root of 8. And what the cube root of 8 means is that we are looking for a number that if you multiply it by itself 3 times, you will get 8. And that happens to be 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So our answer is 1/2 because 2 is the cube root of 8. Number 2, we have 3 to the power of 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And 27 times 3 is 81. Number 3, we have -9 to the -2 power. A negative exponent means 1 over, and -9 squared, a negative to an even power becomes positive, and 9 squared is 81. So our answer is 1 over 81. Number 4, we have 6 to the power of -3. A negative exponent means 1 over, and 6 cubed is 216. So our answer is 1 over 216. Number 5, we have -2 to the power of 6. A negative number to an even power becomes positive. And 2 to the power of 6 equals 64. Number 6. Negative 3 to the power of negative 3. A negative exponent means 1 over. A negative to an odd power is negative, and 3 cubed, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, so the answer is negative 1 over 27. Number 7. We have 216 to the power of 1/3. So if you remember, the denominator becomes the root and the numerator stays with the base number. So this becomes the cube root of 216 because anything to the power of 1 is itself. So now we need a number that if you multiply it by itself 3 times, you get 216. If I do 6 to the power of 3, I get 216. Therefore, the cube root of 216 is 6. Number 8, we have negative 2 to the power of 6. This is the same one we had for number 5, so the answer is 64. Number 9, we have 9 to the negative 1/2. So a negative exponent means 1 over 9 to the 1/2. An exponent of 1/2 means square root. And the square root of 9, this could be 1 over 3 or negative 1 over 3. Because the square root of 9 can be 3. 3 times 3 equals 9. Or the square root of 9 could be negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 equals 9. Number 10, we have 27 to the power of 1/3. So a fractional exponent means a root. The denominator means this is the cube root of 27. And the cube root of 27 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Number 11, we have 4 to the power of negative 1/2. So a negative exponent means 1 over 4 to the 1/2. And the power of 1/2 means the square root. And the square root of 4 could be 2 or -2. So our answer is 1/2 or -1/2. Number 12. We have -3 to the power of -1. The negative exponent means 1 over. And anything to the power of 1 is itself. So our answer is -1/3. Number 13. We have 16 to the power of -1/4. A negative exponent means 1 over. And a power of 1/4 means we want the fourth root of 16. We need the number that when multiplied by itself 4 times will equal 16. And that could be 2 or -2. So our answers are 1/2 or -1/2. Because 2 multiplied by itself 4 times equals 16, and -2 multiplied by itself 4 times will also equal 16. Number 14. We have 4 to the 1/2. That means we have the square root of 4, and that could be 2 or -2, because 2 times 2 is 4, and -2 times -2 is also 4. Number 15. We have 2 to the power of 7. 2, 2 to the power of 7 equals 128. Number 16. We have 32 to the power of 1/5. A fractional exponent means we want the fifth root of 32. We need a number that when multiplied by itself 5 times will give us 32. And that number is 2. Number 17. We have 5 to the power of 1. Anything to the power of 1 is itself. So the answer is 5. Number 18. We have negative 7 to the power of 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. So the answer is 1. Number 19. We have negative 5 to the power of negative 4. A negative exponent means 1 over. A negative number taken to an even power results in a positive number. So now we have 1 over 5 to the power of 4. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. And 125 times 5 is 625. So the answer is 1 over 625. And the last problem on page 2, number 20, we have 7 to the power of negative 3. A negative exponent means 1 over. Now we have 1 over 7 cubed. 7 cubed equals 343. So our answer is 1 over 343. On page 3, we're going to continue with what we've been doing, only now we're going to have fractions as our base numbers. So number 1, we have 1 over 32 to the negative 1 over 5 power. So the negative means 1 over. And the 1/5 power means we want the 5th root. And the 5th root of 1 over 32 is 1/2. And 1 divided by 1/2 is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, which is 2 over 1, and 2 over 1 is 2. Number 2, we have negative 1/2 to the negative 1 power. So negative means 1 over. And anything to the power of 1 is itself. And dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. And 1 times negative 2 over 1 is negative 2. Number 3, we have 81 over 256 to the 1/4 power. This means we want the fourth root of 81 over 256. So we need a number that when multiplied by itself 4 times will give us 81 over 256. So 3 to the 4th power is 81. So our top number is going to be 3. Now we need the number that when multiplied by itself 4 times equals 256. If we take 4 to the 4th power, we get 256. So that means the fourth root of 81 over 256 is 3 over 4. Because 3 over 4 multiplied by 3 over 4 4 times will give us 81 over 256. Number 4, 5/8 to the power of 1. Anything to the power of 1 is itself. So the answer is 5 over 8. Number 5, 16 over 25 to the power of 1/2 means we're looking for the square root of 16 over 25. The square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 25 is 5. So our answer is 4 over 5. Number 6, we have negative 3 over 6 to the 4th power. A negative number taken to a 4th power or any even power becomes positive. I notice right here that 3 over 6 could be simplified to 1/2. And 1/2 to the 4th power, 1 to the 4th power is 1, and 2 to the 4th power is 16. So our answer would be 1 over 16. Number 7, we have 125 over 216 to the power of negative 1 over 3. The negative means 1 over 125 over 216 to the 1/3. A power of 1/3 means we are looking for the cube root of 125 over 216. The cube root of 125 is 5, and the cube root of 216 is 6. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its inverse, and anything times 1 is itself, so the answer is the inverse 6 over 5. Number 8. 1 over 32 to the negative 1/5. The negative exponent means 1 over. The exponent of 1/5 means we want the fifth root of 1 over 32. And the fifth root of 1 over 32 is 1/2. And dividing by a fraction is multiplying by its inverse. The inverse of 1/2 is 2, and 2 times 1 is 2. So my answer is 2. Number 9. Negative 1/2 to the power of 4. A negative to an even power becomes positive. So now I have 1/2 to the power of 4. 1 to the power of 4 is 1, and 2 to the power of 4 is 16. So the answer is 1 over 16. Number 10. We have 3 over 6 squared. The first thing I notice is that 3 over 6 can be simplified to 1/2. 1 squared is 1, and 2 squared is 4. So my answer is 1 over 4. Number 11. We have 1/2 to the power of negative 8. The negative exponent means 1 over. 1/2 to the power of 8. 1 to the power of 8 is 1, and 2 to the power of 8 is 256. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the inverse. The inverse of 1 over 256 is 256. 256 times 1 gives us an answer of 256. Number 12. 1 over 32 to the power of 1 over 5. This means we want the fifth root of 1 over 32. The fifth root of 1 is 1, and the fifth root of 32 is 2. So the answer is 1/2. Number 13. 81 over 256 to the power of 1/4. This means we want the fourth root of 81 over 256. The fourth root of 81 is 3. And the fourth root of 256 is 4. If you noticed, this is the same problem we had right next to it for number 3. Number 14. We have 1 over 32 to the power of negative 1 over 5. The negative means we have 1 over 1/32 to the power of 1/5. The power of 1/5 means we want the fifth root of 1 over 32. The fifth root of 1 over 32 is 1/2. Dividing by a fraction is multiplying by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2, and 2 times 1 is 2. So the answer is 2. Number 15. 1/2 to the power of negative 4. The negative means we have 1 over 1/2 to the power of 4. 1 to the power of 4 is 1, and 2 to the power of 4 is 16. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1 over 16 is 16. 16 times 1 is 16. Number 16. Negative 5/8 to the power of negative 2. The negative exponent means 1 over negative 5/8 squared. A negative raised to an even power becomes positive. So this becomes 1 over 5/8 squared. 5 squared is 25, and 8 squared is 64. And dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 25 over 64 is 64 over 25. Multiplied by 1 gives us an answer of 64 over 25. Number 17. 1 over 12 to the power of 1. Anything to the power of 1 is itself. So the answer is 1 over 12. Number 18. 2 over 5 cubed. 2 cubed is 8, and 5 cubed is 125. So the answer is 8 over 125. Number 19. Negative 1/3 to the power of negative 4. The negative exponent means 1 over. A negative raised to an even power becomes positive. 1 to the 4th power is 1, and 3 to the 4th power is 81. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 1 over 81 is 81, and 81 times 1 is 81. And our last problem on page 3, number 20, negative 1 over 9 raised to the power of 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. So the answer is 1. On page 4 of the worksheet packet, we're going to look at exponents and multiplication. When you multiply exponents, you need to make sure they have the same base number or base variable. Then you add the exponents together. So number 1, you're only going to multiply things that are similar. So here we have 5 times 4. We have y to the 4th times y to the 6th, and we have w to the 3rd. 5 times 4 becomes 20, and y to the 4th times y to the 6th, we add the exponents together, and this becomes y to the 10th. and then we just have w to the third. So our final answer is 20 times y to the 10th times w to the third. For number 2, we have the numbers 2 times 4. We have the variables g to the 5th times g to the 4th times g. And we have the variables r to the 2nd times r to the 6th times r to the 4th. When we do the number portion, 2 times 4 equals 8. G to the 5th times g to the 4th times g. We add the exponents together. So 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So we have g to the 10th. And then when we look at the r's, 2 plus 6 is 8, and 8 plus 4 is 12. So we have r to the 12th. And our final answer is 8 times g to the 10th times r to the 12th. Number 3. Multiply the numbers first. So we have 8 times 4 equals 32. Then you multiply the s's. S times s to the negative 2. 1 plus negative 2 is 1 minus 2. So that would be s to the negative 1. But up in the directions, they said your answer should contain only positive exponents. So to make this a positive exponent with the s's, we can make this 32 times 1 over s. Because the negative represents 1 over. So you could write 32 times 1 over s, or you could write 32 over s. They mean the same thing. Number 4. The number part gives us 6 times 3, which equals 18. Then we have s times s to the negative 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So we have s to the negative 2. And then we have c to the negative 5 times c squared. Negative 5 plus 2 equals negative 3. Now we need these to only have positive. So we could say 18 times 1 over s squared times 1 over c cubed. And then we could rewrite this as 18 over s squared c cubed. Number 5. We have 7 times 2, which is 14. We have b to the 4th times b. 4 plus 1 is 5, so this becomes b to the 5th. And r cubed times r to the 5th. 3 plus 5 equals 8. So our final answer is 14 b to the 5th power r to the 8th power. Number 6. W times w to the negative 6th. 1 minus 6 equals negative 5. The negative represents 1 over w to the 5th. Number 7. N squared times n to the negative 4th times n to the negative 5th. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. And the negative represents 1 over n to the 7th. Number 8. D squared times d to the 6th. 2 times 6 is 8. 2 plus 6 is 8. So our answer is d to the 8th. Number 9. 2 times 9 is 18. K to the 5th times k to the negative 2nd. 5 minus 2 equals 3. And h to the negative 4th times h cubed. Negative 4 plus 3 equals negative 1. This means 18 k cubed. The negative 1 represents 1 over h. We could rewrite this in a simplified form as 18 k cubed over h. Number 10. We have 3 times 6 times 4. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 times 4 is 72. Then we have c to the 4th times c to the negative 4th times c to the negative 6th. 4 minus 4 is 0. 0 minus 6 is negative 6. This would be rewritten as 72 times 1 over c to the 6th, and could be simplified as 72 over c to the 6th. Number 11. We have 1 over r to the 3rd, which is r to the minus 3, times 1 over r to the 6th, which is r to the minus 6. Negative 3 minus 6 is r to the minus 9. The minus means 1 over, so we have 1 over r to the 9th. Number 12. W to the minus 2 times w to the 6th, negative 2 plus 6 equals 4. So our answer is w to the power of 4. Number 13. We have 3. Then we have g times g to the 5th. And we have z times z to the 4th. 1 plus 5 is 6. And 1 plus 4 is 5. So we have 3 times g to the power of 6 times z to the power of 5. And our last practice problem, number 14, we have 5 times 2, w squared times w cubed, r to the power of 4 times r to the power of 6. 5 times 2 equals 10. 2 plus 3 equals 5. And 4 plus 6 equals 10. So our final answer is 10 times w to the power of 5 times r to the power of 10. If you have any questions about any of the exponent rules that we've gone over in this worksheet packet, please use class time to ask for clarification. This will be very important when it comes to being able to do exponential functions, as well as getting answers correct on your STAR Math test, your PSAT, and your SAT tests.